poured since about 5 o'clock. The pitch was covered until about 6. We got some more rain, and now it's beginning to rain again here in Lexington. And so, Gavin, we have seen that this pitch, because we haven't had rain, there's not a deep root structure right now, and it has been slick even when it's dry. So they'll have to get an idea of how this pitch is going to play quickly tonight.
Yeah, I think those first 5 minutes here, these players, they only had about 15, 20 minutes to get warmed up, and they're going to want to get to the speed of the ball. And I could see in the warm just how quick that ball was moving across this surface.
Kentucky is in the home white. You've got Dayton in what looks to be the road, looks like navy. I don't know whether it's navy or black. I don't think that's a UD color from my memory, but they've got the red cross striping on their uniforms. Eric Tattersall is our referee. Jackson Krauser, the assistant. Laura Snyder is also an assistant, and Andrew Castell is the alternate official. And a foul there. And we are going to do our best on these numbers and everything tonight, but these UD uniforms, the numbers are very difficult to read on the back. There's a shot, and that ball is in on a rebound.
There's that wet surface right away. Moles has dropped it.
You had Moles that came out to make the save. The ball was punched in there by Jayden Jones-Riley, and Moles couldn't handle it cleanly. And that ball was followed up by a goal, and that's after the short free kick following the foul on Kentucky's Clay Holstad.
And Kentucky just didn't wake up quick enough. Dayton have a bit more pep in their step. Quick free kick. Kentucky not ready. Ball played across, and Mole's not able to handle it.
My goodness, 59 seconds in.
A ball like that is hard enough on the driest of days.
And Moles just kind of laid out and couldn't gather it in. And so Kentucky, they have not trailed a lot this season, but 59 seconds in, they find themselves looking up at a 1-0 hole.
This will be a new test for Kentucky.
Grasso trying to play it up. And that ball taken away and no whistle.
Robert Screen not happy with that.
Neither were the Kentucky fans.
I think there the referee decides it's just a coming together. I think on a wet night like tonight, we're going to expect to see a lot of players on their backs.
And even though the Wildcats and their fans have been stunned by this early goal, that can turn around just as early, and there's a foul as Bjorgelsen was trying to get by a Dayton defender, and that's going to be a free kick outside the box.
Yeah, foul on Brown.
So on the goal, they give it to Seth Ante. So Ante gets the goal. And here's Screen with a kick to the back post. Bjorgelsen couldn't do anything with it.
And we know this Dayton team is going to press high. We see that right there. Those front 5 players high up the field pressing that Kentucky defense.
Dayton and Kentucky both unbeaten. The Flyers out of the Atlantic 10 come in with a record of 8-0-3. They're 2-0-3 in the A10. And under the leadership of Dennis Currier, who's in his 18th season, the Flyers are 4-0-1 on the road. Kentucky, of course, 8-0-2 and 3-0-1 in the Sun Belt. for Johan Settergren in his 11th season. And here come the Flyers on the attack again.
And you know, Dayton coming off two recent ties, they'll be out here ready to prove something.
Erickson did a nice job of taking that ball away. And they play it back to the keeper, Catano.
That ball just sliding off.
On a night like this, it'll slide off the side of the foot. You don't know how it's going to react off the pitch. It's just kind of an adventure right now. And another foul, another whistle by Eric Tattersall, indicating a foul. The rains continue to come down in Lexington. Erickson couldn't get a foot on it. Miller tries to clear and can't. And the Flyers keep it in that attack end. In the box and not cleared yet. Still not cleared. Left foot, and it's blocked by a defender. Wildcats can't get it out of their own end because of the Dayton pressure. Here's Jones-Riley. And Dayton clearly a little quicker of foot right now.
Yeah, Kentucky really just struggling to get to the pace of the ball right now and the pace of Dayton. Important here just to weather this early storm.
Just kind of give yourself some breathing room. Get to a point where you can gather yourself and try to make something happen.
You see the wind just holding that ball up.
It is definitely blowing back toward the Kentucky goal. And Casper Moles. And am I right that Moles got the start on Sunday?
Yep.
If so, then this is the first time that Johan Settergren has gone away from rotating his keepers. It had been an even-Steven deal up to this point in time. Isaac Walker, Casper Moles, but it's Moles now. Who's in and ready to go. Miller chases it down.
You can see that ball. It's just like trying to hold on to a wet fish. It's sliding off boots left, right, and center. Lightning press out of Dayton. Let's see how long they can contain this energy.
Is that what it's called? Yeah, don't say lightning press tonight. We don't want any lightning
Right.
tonight, and there is some of that electricity in the area. So it's 65 degrees. Showers are supposed to continue for the next several hours. And that wind is blowing 17 miles an hour. I don't know how well you can see it on your screen, but it is certainly having an effect as it blows back toward Moles in the Kentucky net. So figuratively and literally, the Wildcats playing into a headwind here in this first 20 minutes, first 45 minutes, as they try to dig themselves out of a 1-0 hole. Screen has his pass intercepted. And a whistle. And the referee walks back toward Aitor Bjorgulfsson.
Yeah, just some tidy cleaning up by the number 10 and to be in there in that defensive midfield role tonight.
And, of course, Ante got the first goal for the Flyers. That is Xavier Zenge with a kick. "59 seconds in. Off the set piece. And the 22nd ranked team in the country takes an early lead over the nation's number 2.
Dayton not afraid to commit players forward here into this press. And we can see that just from Kentucky, if they're able to break it, there's a lot of space in behind.
From what we understand, Gavin, they would do that normally, but even probably feel a little more emboldened to do it with an early 1-0 lead.
Yeah. And you can expect the mistakes in weather like this as well.
That
Ball's
ball,
always going to be tricky underfoot.
that ball nicely played forward, but Maurice couldn't get there. And now here come the Flyers with some room. Center. Second rebound. And that is what got the Cats the first time. Who was that on the far side with that run? Boy, those numbers are tough. Wow.
Might have been Quia. And just all credit
Yeah.
All credit there to Grasso. He didn't commit himself too early. He got his distance right. He got his direction right and was able to cover that pass into the middle without giving up the goal.
That's an outstanding corner kick, and the Flyers still have it in, headed toward the goal mouth, and it goes past Moles.
And this might be the most rattled early on in the game that we've seen Kentucky all season, Dave.
I believe last time down, you're correct. That was Joseph Melto Quia who applied the pressure. It's only 2 shots so far for Dayton. They've obviously gotten one in. The Wildcats have yet to get a shot as we've played 11 minutes.
We're starting to see that initial wave from Dayton subsiding a little bit.
Bjorgelsen couldn't make contact with a high kick. Maurice hustling back. But a lot of poise shown there by the keeper, Catano. And the flag is up here on the near side.
Not taking any risks.
And Dayton is called for offsides.
That second offside for a Jago. He's turning around. Players asking him just to pay a little bit more attention to where he's starting on the field.
Boy, every ball in the air being won by the Flyers right now. This Kentucky team, talented, poised, veteran. First time that they've ever been ranked as high as second in the country. And they're on their heels a little bit early on. They haven't gotten crazy or anything like that. They've kept their composure, but on their heels a little bit after the Flyers score 59 seconds in.
I mean, no, this is a team that has had success by sticking to what they do best and sticking to a game plan, and we can expect them to try and do the same.
Nice touch by Erickson, and Grenning had it taken away, and that's nice play in the midfield by Seth Ante, who, as we mentioned, has got the game's only goal.
Looks to be wearing an orange brace on his elbow. Makes it a bit easier for us to pick out these Dayton players.
Right. You guys across the pond, you wear these jerseys like this all the time, right? With those side-to-side stripes?
Yes.
Boy, those are difficult to pick up numbers on. Rodriguez up near midfield, and a nice touch from Bjorgelsen, who goes down, and the referee says play on. Centering pass, Grenning at the top, backside screen, and he's defended nicely. Flyers in position once again. And that was Jones Kelly who was right there. Meantime, they come back the other way. Can't sleep on this Dayton team at all.
No, it is end-to-end stuff, Dave.
That was Manny Day who pushed the tempo here on the near side, and now they reset the attack.
You can just see how comfortable this Dayton team is in possession of the ball. It's confident, they're fluid.
Here's Jones-Riley, who comes up all the way from the back, and he gets around screen, which doesn't happen often. Back post, and that ball hit the crossbar.
Manny Day.
Beautiful header by Day. He got it down, and it just hit the crossbar and kicked out.
And we saw it down the other end with Kentucky. You get the ball into those dangerous areas between the back four and the goalkeeper. Anything is liable to happen.
But Dayton has been relentless in the first 14 and a half minutes.
And how about that burst of speed from Jones-Riley?
He was the guy who turned the corner when Dayton scored first. And now some chirping from the back. And our referee
Yellow card for Zengay.
Issues a yellow card. And that goes against Xavier Zengay. And I mean, he was well behind the play.
Yeah, that's for back there against Eitor Björgolfsson. Just coming together as Björgolfsson is rushing into the box.
I'm not sure if it was for that or whether it was for chirping or what, but it was well behind the play.
Jaga working his tail off here. Just trying to get pressure on that Kentucky back four and Casper Moles.
Trying to play it up the screen, and he maintains control. Nice ball to the backside. Wildcats trying to control. Wow, there's no foul there. And that arm was clearly extended.
Good use of his body there by Ante.
Well, yeah, I guess at some point in time, you've got to find out what the referee is going to let you do and not do. And
a couple of top 25 teams here. We know it's going to be a physical battle, and the referee will want to see it.
Well, if that one's consistent, it'll get more physical. And again, as a player, all you want to know is how it's going to be called.
Right.
May not get every call you like, just let me know how it's going to be called. Far side, they try to go to Gutman. And Björgolfsson was right there before Catano boots it away.
Yeah, staying lively on his line.
And a whistle. And Eric Tattersall with a long look there. As I believe that was Ante again.
Max Miller able to keep him at bay.
Max Miller has been oh so important to this Kentucky team and the contributions he's made as a true freshman.
A lot of responsibility for a true freshman across the back line for a top team like Kentucky, and he's handled it well all season, both sides of the ball. He's been fantastic. Great test for him tonight up there against Quia. The battle of the freshmen out on that far side.
Yeah. So I'm not sure whether the coaches found out something in warm-ups or decided to make a tactical change, but I was just referencing back the lineup. In the early lineup that we had gotten tonight, had Taco Simpasi in the starting lineup, and instead it's Björgolfsson who's been battling an injury, who gets the start. Grinning, nice ball. Gutman lets it go. And it's blocked by a defenseman.
Brown getting his body in the way.
And that'll be the first corner of the night for Kentucky.
Corner kick for Kentucky. Taking the kick for your
Kentucky will look for more of the same there, trying to test Catano here. This is a goalkeeper's nightmare. Anything on the ground, flying at him.
Well, especially on a night like this.
Right.
Because somebody could slip in front of you. You could slip. We saw what happened where Moles couldn't bring it in. Left-footed kick, and it's a dandy. Bjorgelsen got a head on it. And it looked like Eriksson flying in at the end, and he couldn't convert. And the Wildcats get the ball on the turnover and may have gotten away with one there.
Yeah, Clay Holstad just busting a gut to get there.
It was great hustle, but we saw Melto Quia go down from behind.
I mean, how Holstad does that so well. Just cleans things up and around that midfield for Kentucky. You know, we talk, both teams, and in soccer we talk a lot about intensity. You know, intensity isn't always about running around and sort of being high energy. Intensity is as much about concentration as it is kind of physical endurance. And why will these players need to concentrate tonight?
Left foot, and that's a nice touch from Miller. And a little back heel as Maurice tried to get it back to a teammate.
Gutman just starting in an offside position. And what a cushion here for the Flyers. Inside of a minute getting that goal. We know that this is a tough place for any team to come and play, regardless of who you are. So to have that cushion going in so early gives you all kinds of confidence.
No question. And as you said, they're a high-energy pressing team regardless. Bassett Omar, number 8. We see him pressing up in the middle of the field as he stalks Holstad and now comes toward Grosso right there. Screen, what a nice punch. Grinning, getting it on his right foot. Tries to set it and then goes far side. Bjorgelsen was in front, but they couldn't get it to him. And maybe the best run of the night we've seen for Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky just starting to create some chances, and Gutman there, I might expect him to take a touch and get a shot away. You know, it is a night to test the keeper. We saw it down the front in that opening minute. Casper Moles did all the right things. He got himself between the back four and the goal and collected it and just couldn't make the ball stick. Make the keeper do his job.
And I was thinking the same thing. I mean, and regardless, there's so many things that can happen on a night like this. Ball hops, ball scoots, ball's wet, gloves are wet by the keeper, and the flag goes up for another offside. So
that offside is causing big trouble for Dayton. I'm really sort of taking a sting out of their otherwise energetic attacks here.
Shows you just how much they're pressing. That would be their third offsides. But I don't mind at all somebody taking a shot from distance on a night like this to kind of find out how players and how the pitch is going to react.
Yeah.
Day with the pressure on Grosso. And that ball won in the air nicely by Jones Riley. He has been impressive early on. Here's a ball from distance. And it took Moles off his feet. I think the reason he made the dive was because maybe the foot got stuck there. And so that will allow Dayton to have its second corner of the night.
He won't be. He wouldn't have been taking any chances with that ball.
And it's going to be 7, Andy Sanchez, who takes the kick with his right foot, which means it'll be going away from the goal mouth. Near post, it's hit. Up in the air again.
Cleared by Maurice.
Relieve some pressure for just a moment, and look at Miller with the high press. Nicely won in the air by Rodriguez. And Maurice...
I think the referee's just happy to play advantage there.
Well, I guess, because now if he's going to play it like that, that is Omar. And that ball taken away.
Yeah, referee happy to keep things free flowing here between these two teams.
Yeah, it is not going to be a tight whistle tonight.
No.
As we're past the midway mark here in the first half.
Yeah, we're seeing what we might call total soccer here. Schoolyard stuff.
Dave Baker, Gavin Colton here with you. There we saw Omar take the slide on a wet pitch. Boy, and it's just a shove. I mean, you do more of this stuff than I do, but I mean, you either play with your feet or you don't.
Yeah, it's a physical game, but you tend to want to keep your hands to yourself.
Not tonight.
No.
It's not a foul till it's called a foul, right?
Yeah, these players know enough to take as many liberties as they can.
Holstad got it back to Rodriguez, and now Miller has it taken away. Maurice got tangled up over there, and again, they play on. Grenning looking to create. Maurice left foot goes to Bjorgolfsson, who just couldn't get it squared up enough. He couldn't get enough on that header, and it was an easy save for Catano.
Yeah, he looked like he might have jumped too early and just was not able to generate the power. But again, that's Kentucky knocking on the door. They'll be happy with that.
Right back they come. One more time, they go to the right side. Tried to punch it into Erickson, who retrieves it. Looking to center, nobody home at the top of the box. And Day starts it the other way.
Just poor areas from Kentucky there. It's not the top of the box.
Day,
not the top of the box kind of a night.
With Omar down here at the bottom. And they like to play through Omar and Ante.
They're just so great to watch. Both of them on the ball.
And that ball too far on the long service into the Dayton defensive end.
I tell you, it's great when you get a referee like this.
You like it.
He keeps the game moving. You get two teams that want to run at each other, want to put bodies on each other. Let them play. Keep players safe always, but let the teams play.
Grenning's pass was lost. And once again, here come the Flyers.
Maurice unlucky just not to slide that ball through. Dayton doing a great job of getting lots of players around the ball when a Kentucky player is on it.
And I tell you one thing they do as well, Gavin, is they really transition efficiently and quickly from defense to offense.
Right. And that's some of that concentration. That's that intensity is paying attention and reacting quickly. In my days, I remember going up to Dayton. It was always a tough place to play, and when the sort of speed that they played at was always a challenge, always a challenge. And the players, and it's not always about just the player's pace and speed himself, but just a willingness to move the ball.
Bjorgolfsson out in front, and he was bracketed well. He got behind Logan, but Logan got some help back there. Ball centered again. Gobbled up by Catano.
Couple of times there, Max Miller's just been a little bit slow once that ball's been spread out to him. He's doing a fantastic job at getting himself into that final third. But he needs to play that ball first time once it's laid out to him. Not give Dayton a chance to get themselves into that space between the goalkeeper and their back four.
That was Jones Riley on the defense who bailed out Logan, as Bjorgelsen had gotten behind one Flyer defender, but he couldn't get past the second.
We see a frustrated Bjorgelsen.
Nicely done there by Day, who poked it away.
Ante with the footwork.
And so a back and forth pushing and shoving between Ante and Maurice. Clock stops while referee has a word with each of the players.
I think that's sensible from the referee, just trying to take the sting out of it. We've seen lots of comings together here tonight.
And of course, as soon as he did it, then Ante starts barking at Maurice, which defeats the whole purpose of getting them together, right?
The illusion that the referees are in control of what goes on out here.
Right. It has rained this entire half as we approach the 30-minute mark. As we said before, the Wildcats running against the wind and running uphill. As Dayton got a goal from Seth Ante 59 seconds into the match.
Referee just not happy with how slow Dayton are moving here, getting this throw-in started.
Bjorgelsen trying to turn, and he can't get there.
Bjorgelsen's a player who relies a lot on playing with his back to goal and receiving the ball, controlling it, and dictating some of that tempo and direction of the attack. And he's going to struggle tonight with that, with the conditions.
Wow, look at Day chase that ball down, and what a nice play by Robert Screen. You make a really good point, Gavin, because one of the things Kentucky has been able to do is they've set things up this year, is they have been able to find Bjorgelsen with his back to the goal, almost like a center at the high post.
Right.
And with this Dayton pressure, they haven't even come close to doing that here in the first half.
No, it's hard to do, and Kentucky has struggled to transition when they've won the ball and get players further up the pitch.
Boy, that could have been a very dangerous ball. First substitutions of the night for Kentucky. 21, Mason Leith comes in, as does 6, Martin Sarita. Erickson and Bjorgelsen come out at the 31-minute mark.
Mason Leith is one of those guys who may look to play on the shoulder and get in behind a little bit more naturally than Bjorgelsen will.
Leith had a nice run the other night in that 6-0 win over Georgia Southern. It was, of course, a win that featured Ben Damgey getting the Wildcats' first hack trick in like about 13 years. Here's Sarita, who lets it go from distance, and I love that shot. Goes just wide.
That's a good, effective introduction to Martin Sarita.
And so for Kentucky, Taco Simpase comes in. So does 19, Brennan Creek. So Foster Ajago comes out for Dayton. We'll pick up who's going in. And Catano gets things going with a goal kick. Samuel Owusu checks in for Ajago.
Great touch.
And Miller can't clear it, but he gets it to Sarita.
Good decision by Martin Srida. Might not know what's going on around him just there.
And Usu Sinu Cisse checks in for Manny Day.
That'll be a nice welcome break for Robert Screen, who's had to deal with Day out on this near side. It's a great ball by Grosso. Dayton sticking to the game plan. They've got those 5 players pressing Kentucky's 3. 4 if you include Moles. And Kentucky trying to be brave just beyond that 5. You see Martin Srida on the left-hand side of your screen just playing in that hole, giving Umar something extra to think about. And that's where you reap the rewards. Kentucky just getting the other side of that press.
Here's Screen. Will he let it go? Yes, he did. But a touch too late. And the Wildcats keep it in as we hit 34 minutes gone in this first half.
That'll be a corner. That'll be a corner.
Wow.
Great hand by Catano. Well worked. Well worked by Clay Holstad to get it onto his left foot and get a strike away.
And Holstad is effective with that foot.
Cats number 2, Robert Screen.
Kentucky just having to play a little bit outside of themselves at the moment to create some chances.
So Screen will take the kick.
Look at that corner flag.
It's blowing so hard it's almost bent over. Top of the box. So Ryda was able to turn, but unfortunately kicked it out of bounds.
Just glanced off a Dayton head, I think, before it landed on him. Hey, and despite the weather tonight, we've got a decent showing out here, Dave.
I mean, a bunch of people out here.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, obviously with Kentucky moving up to number 2 in the country, I think they've developed a great following anyway.
Yeah.
Saw a lot of youth teams out here tonight. As that ball is squirted through. As Holstad got tied up. And boy, look at Moles coming off his line. Coming off his line like a lot.
Yeah, mark of a good goalkeeper. Comfortable on the ball, comfortable outside of his own box.
Just don't want to be too comfortable, right?
Right.
And we've talked about it, and I don't think you can quite see it on our camera, but if you could look up at his lights, yeah, you can. It's raining harder now than I believe it has at any time during the match.
Cats and dogs.
But you know, Gavin, except for maybe a couple times, I haven't seen as many people slip out here on the pitch as we had the other night.
Of course, the amazing grounds crew here.
Oh, they're the best.
Here at Kentucky, they keep this place well watered and they keep it in good shape.
And because of the fact it's rained so much, would it stand to reason that, do they still have interchangeable spikes?
They ought to. I had a conversation with...
I'm sorry, you guys call them studs, don't you?
Studs, yeah. I had a conversation with Josh Aldroyd and Sam Brooks the other night, and I was just curious and asking about what sort of cleats these players are wearing. And, you know, coaches always want players in surface appropriate footwear. God forbid somebody slips, and it's one of those avoidable things.
Couple of nice tackles at both ends of the pitch right there.
Well, clever by Screen just to let that run through. But there's Mason Leith, as we expected, starting to play on that shoulder and look to get behind that Dayton back four.
Mm-hmm.
Asked him a couple questions.
He's certainly just a different look there than what Bjorgulfsson was.
I'm trying to picture Bjorgulfsson with the mullet.
Well, that's certainly the biggest difference. That ball deflected off Simpasi. Boy, and a nice touch from Simpasi all the way back to Rodriguez.
We're set for
a tidy from Grosso. He's been neat. He's been very neat back there in that centre back position. just help him maintain possession. We can see
And a
yellow
whistle.
card here.
And is that going to... It's going to be a card on Kentucky. Miller.
Yellow card is assessed to Kentucky player number 14, Max Miller.
That's exactly what it looks like. And
A little bit of frustration. Maybe didn't need to do it. Enough Kentucky players. We don't have the beauty of replay here tonight, but enough Kentucky players making their way back there.
Flyer player who was down was on the business end of that foul. I won't apologize, but I'll just be as honest as I can with you. I mean, these numbers are really, really hard to see, even with the binoculars. Our referee Tattersall over there. And now we see him getting up, and that's Casper Savenby, who's up trying to walk it off now.
Dangerous ball. And well left by Holstad. It's a good call from the referee. A lot of people out in their back.
Flyers take it away, and here they come with some numbers. On the right foot, and that blast is good. You could see that coming.
And it looks like Umar.
I think that was Basit Omar, a freshman from Kumasi, Ghana, via the Right to Dream Academy. And it is Umar.
Yeah, just a ferocious strike.
And the Wildcats in a 2-0 hole here at home.
Rattled. Referee just urging Dayton to get back in their half so we can get this game underway again. But of course the clock is stopped.
For Basit, that's his second goal of the season. For Ante, it was also his second goal of the season. And both of those came from players right in the middle of the pitch.
Well, we see just how well Dayton commits players forward from midfield.
Simpasi got a foot on it. And now Screen switches the field.
Well handled by Miller.
Let's see if he can center. That ball in front and poked out.
Look at this commitment again from Dayton. Simpasi just trying to catch.
Here they go again, and Rodriguez kicks it out. And now they're going to call a foul on Grosso.
Grosso not happy with that.
And that was Omar, who was making a run. So now here comes the set piece. And who will take it? Looks like it's going to be Andy Sanchez who took the corner.
We should see a shot here.
And he couldn't get on top of it. And you said it earlier in this half, Gavin, but this will now absolutely be the biggest test that this Wildcat team has faced. Turnover. And I don't know how that happened.
Moles a bit safer hands than we've seen in that opening minute.
But I'm telling you, the more they have scored, the more confidence Dayton is getting, and the more they press on the defensive end.
Yeah. I mean, just look at Martin Sarita trying to play in that pocket and just get beyond that first initial press of those 5 players in the middle for Dayton and look to get beyond and commit players forward. Kentucky have struggled to create chances here in this first half, and they've got to get something on goal and start to make life difficult here for Dayton.
The Wildcats are much more comfortable playing that defense, which has been outstanding for them. They can score a bunch of goals, but they love to set things up and go from there. And Dayton is just, I mean, they're just going as fast as they can every time they touch the ball.
Yep. Hey, tell you what, this whole first half, Dayton have looked more comfortable on the ball, more organised, both sides on attack and defence.
I have this tendency to use basketball analogies because that's what I'm used to.
Hey, that works. It's an education for me, Dave.
But I mean, it's like whoever can dictate the pace. There's you go out to the track and you've heard that phrase, pace makes the race.
You're right.
And so right now I think Dayton has got it at the pace they want.
Yeah.
And that has not only gotten them the lead, but it's kept Kentucky from getting comfortable themselves.
No, Kentucky have not been able to find the rhythm in the same way we've seen them do all season and do so well. And here's the test, you know, it's very unlikely teams go unbeaten all season. And here's the big test for them.
So we are
Mason Leith
42 minutes in. Leith is down.
Brennan Creek, sorry.
I'm sorry, it is Creek. And there is a Dayton defender down. That looks like Ante.
Here's a moment you might wish you had Arthur Bjorgufsson on the field.
So Screen looks like he's going to put the ball on his right foot. He does to the top of the box. Grosso got a head on it. And Holstad tracks it down.
I'm still looking at those corner flags. They're horizontal.
They are. This is like a summer day in Ireland, isn't it?
Yeah. This stuff doesn't scare me, Dave.
This is balmy. So long throw in from the far side. Oh, they say it's going to be a corner now. So it'll be Maurice with his left foot as we approach the 43rd minute. The thing here is to adjust. You can kick it right at the goal because that wind is going to push it back out from the goal. There it is, and the wind pushes it just as planned.
Hey, you know, you've got 4 Kentucky players standing on the top of the box there, and no one reacts to it. Dayton player gets to that second ball.
That time they didn't get the first ball or the second ball. And now they try to feed it into the corner. And once again, the Flyers' defense is solid. How about that step in by Holstad and a nice move. Tries to center it to Grosso. Cat's trying to get a shot, and it's in the corner. And Kentucky with its own relentless play. And it's Enzo Maurice who gets a huge goal just about a minute and a half before the end of the first half to cut the margin to 1.
And that's come just when they needed it. Beautiful piece of individual skill by Maurice there to lift the ball over to Dayton. Dayton leg, and fantastic finish. We saw him do it the other night. We see just how technically gifted Maurice is, and he shows us all of his cards there.
Great play by Maurice. Give credit as well to Clay Holstead, who really dug in there on the far side and kept that ball in the attack area. And now the Wildcats with a hop in their step. Here's Miller. Maurice again at the top of the box, trying to set it on his left foot. Simpasi down on the left side. And that'll be a corner kick for the Wildcats with 1 minute to play. Can Kentucky strike twice in a short period of time as the clock continues to move and Robert Screen sets up the corner?
And these fans are on their feet.
Rodriguez at the back of the box. Erickson in front. And here's Screen's delivery. Rodriguez and a turn in front. And I think that was Leith who tried to get a right foot on it.
They got 25 seconds.
Wildcats keep it in, trying to get off one more shot. Simpasi and Miller. Here will come the long service into the box. Rodriguez settles.
10,
Wildcats looking for a handball.
7, 6, 5,
And Miller, that's got to be a foul from behind, doesn't it? Yes, it is.
1-0. That is the end of the first
But the half is over as time runs down. Dayton 6 shots, 2 on goal. Flyer keeper had 3 saves. Kentucky 7 shots, 4 on goal, no saves. So after kind of just getting stung right out of the gate, Enzo Maurice with a huge goal, Gavin, to cut the lead to 2-1 at the break.
Yeah, that's a lifeline for Kentucky right at the end of this first half, and that's what they'll need going in. But besides from that Kentucky goal, I think it's safe to say that Dayton have controlled the tempo and the pace
in the country. A little shell-shocked early on as 2 scores by the Dayton Flyers. The first coming at the 59-second mark as Logan Brown scored. Then at the 38-25 mark, Basit Omar got a goal off the right foot. Wildcats find themselves in a 2-0 hole until 1:21 left in the half, and Kentucky's Enzo Maurice got a ball from Max Miller and Clay Holstead. They both get assists to cut this lead in half 2-1. And if body language has anything to do with it, Gavin Colton, it looks like the Wildcats are just really ready to go.
Yeah, I don't expect them to make the same mistake twice and fall asleep in the first couple of minutes. They look energized and ready to rock here.
But as we have seen tonight, Dayton has been really ready to go too. Kentucky with only 4 substitutions in this match, only 2 for Dayton, and the Flyers in those dark jerseys with the red stripes will have the first possession.
And of course, these conditions have not gotten any easier.
Rain has been steadily coming down ever since the start of this game. Bunch of rain beforehand for those of you just joining us. The showers are not supposed to subside until after midnight.
Just both teams struggling to get a foot on the ball there.
All right. Wildcats will now try to play it out of the back. They play it back to Moles.
That looks business as usual there for that Dayton split 10 outfield players. 5 forward, 5 back.
Bjorgulfsson back in. I noticed Erickson is out there wearing a couple of gloves. It was 70 this afternoon. Holstad got a little tap from Bjorgulfsson. Here's Grenning trying to put it on his foot and now backs it out.
Just couldn't get out the other side of Jones Riley, who we know just has bags and bags of pace. Even for Grenning to deal with.
There's Erickson, and is that a nice punch? Bjorgulfsson playing a high post that time. Here's Gutman, and a ball blocked by a defender. Still alive. Bjorgulfsson got a hit on it. Gutman got another shot. But excellent pressure by the Wildcats, but that Gutman shot, I believe, was blocked by Andy Sanchez.
Yeah, much better start, much better start. Bjorgensson back in, connecting a little bit better with those players around him. And Holstad again, setting up that attack.
The ball is played back and nearly played too far back, as Grenning and Maurice are pressed up. Nicely won by Grosso.
I'm going to see how Kentucky deals with having the wind on their side here a little bit this next half.
Boy, nice play by Erickson to keep that ball alive. But Dayton takes it right away. How about that play in the center of the pitch?
Great feet. It's all in the hips for Umar.
And hustling down the far side. That ball off the body of Screen. And that'll be a corner for the Flyers, as they literally were flying up the far side. And once again, that's Jordan Jones-Riley. He's had a lot of pace tonight. And Sanchez has taken every one of the set piece and corner kicks. That's a dandy.
That's deep.
I believe that was Gutman who tried to clear it. I thought he could have settled it and put it on his foot a little more. Here's Bjorgensson, and he's got Gutman.
Look at these Kentucky players looking out either side.
He's got Grenning on the far side. Here's Gutman trying to turn the corner. Trail! Boy, and what a save! And look at that follow! And it goes just wide. That's the kind of offensive set you want to see from the Wildcats. A great shot, and then Bjorgensson tried to bicycle the rebound in and hit it just wide.
Hey, and there's Kentucky committing players forward like Dayton did in that first half. Max Miller all the way up there in the edge of the box, getting shot away. Moments like that, I think, are a little bit unconventional outside of Kentucky's usual disciplined style.
And Johan Sedergren says to the Flyers, let's see how you like playing on defense like this. Miller had it for a moment, and then Gutman loses it out of bounds. Miller punches it toward Bjorgensson. Let's see if he can get it on a turn.
Isn't he a handful?
Nicely played by the Flyers. That's got to be a foul, right?
Yeah, that's late for Manny Day.
I mean, Screen had clearly won the ball and then went flying afterwards.
I'll call it as I see it. He's watching Screen there. He's not watching the ball. And the referee's picked up on it.
Kind of looks like the way us old guys box out when we're playing down at the Y, right?
Right.
Effective, but not.
You're probably talking about me, but I won't take any offense.
No, I'm not talking about you. And the clock is going to stop, and is that going to be a card? It is.
And this is where Kentucky just need to keep this
and hold
pressure
it, this
on.
might be a second card. Hang on now.
I tell you what, just losing his cool a little bit.
Eric Tattersall is not going to listen to very much more.
No, Umar just pulling his pal away.
That's Seth Ante, who got the first goal of this game. So that is the third yellow card of this match. Zenge, and Ante have gotten yellows for Dayton. And Max Miller was assessed a yellow for Kentucky at the 37-30 mark of the first half. So perhaps a little frustration on the part of the Flyers beginning to show. And now they press up the defense.
Much better from Kentucky here these opening few minutes.
Screen, what a nice feed to Grenning. And the Flyers able to take it away, but not able to keep it in play. Certainly a much different pace by the Wildcats, as you said, in this first 5 minutes of the final period.
Right. Hey, game of two halves.
Screen with a left foot, going for Gutman on the back post, and he's just able to keep it in. Here's Miller. And now Gutman trying to poke it back in. Back heel from, that was Maurice who got it to Miller. And then Maurice has it taken away.
Goal kick.
And it will be a goal kick.
I see down just behind that Dayton goal down there. A couple of local Lexington celebrities, former soccer players, Harry Kerwin, who played at Lincoln City, and Brad Wilson, who played at Nottingham Forest Academy. They're in the blue and the grey jacket, out here enjoying some soccer.
You did say celebrities.
Local celebrities.
Local celebrities. Wow. I hope they get a tape of this broadcast.
It's great. Lexington is an amazing hub for soccer these days, and only growing.
I need to get over there at one of those deals where you guys get up in the morning and watch. I'm sure we'll see some of that for the World Cup, right?
Yeah. You let me know, Dave. I'll be watching games. Of course, on Black Friday, you've got the U.S. playing against England.
Isn't that unbelievable? They say that could well be the most watched match of all time.
There's a good chance of it. It's been great to be over, in America these last 10 years, Dave, and just see how much soccer has grown, both at the college level, the professional level. And, I think what I'm most excited about is seeing how much the women's game has grown.
What a nice feed that was. And here are the Flyers. Crossed the goal mouth, and I don't know whether Moles got a hand on that or not, but it stays in, and Dayton continues the attack. Excellent defense on the far side. And Screen knocks it off the foot of the Flyer attacker. An outstanding defense by Robert Screen.
Just not taking any chances there, Casper Moles. And Dayton just trying to find some rhythm here again.
That ball goes from distance, and the Wildcats will get it back. And that might be a good kick when you're up 2-0, but in a one-goal game, I'm sure Dennis Courier would have liked to seen his club get a little closer. Again, Courier, the Flyers head coach, 18th year. He was the 2020 A10 Coach of the Year.
He's really built something special up there in Dayton, Ohio. I'll tell you what, we were talking about Ante earlier. Must be one of the best center defensive midfielders in college soccer, who I expect no doubt will go on to that next professional level once he's done here at Dayton.
Look at that settle and touch. Turning immediately. Cats trying to get back on defense. Miller's there. Sanchez looks to turn, and now he switches the pitch. Left foot, and blocked by Screen, who gets to it and gets it out of bounds. That'll be a Dayton corner.
Grosso stepped in well there. I thought Robert Screen was just a little bit far away. He needed to be about a half step closer to Manny Day. You can't give a guy like that any room to breathe.
And so this should be Sanchez who takes the kick. We were just talking about Dennis Courier. Just saw him pop out of the dugout there for the first time tonight, where he was discussing something rather pointedly with our alternate referee, Andre Castle. That ball outside the top of the box as the wind blew it back. Nice vision on the field. They serve it to the front post.
And safe hands.
And Moles comes out of there with it and now wants to set things up.
That's a tremendous ball from Moles. That is so difficult to do for any goalkeeper.
And how about that touch from Gutman? And Miller had it for a moment, but stolen right away by that solid midfield of Dayton. And it was Ante again. Screen. Man, has he been pressured and responded to it on the far side in this second half. And you get the impression now that Dayton feels like they have weathered that first Kentucky flurry, and now they're starting to settle back into their game. Wildcats trying to get it out of their own end.
Good composure from Miller.
And now they play back to Moles. And what a nice ball to screen. Saw him up there
Go
in
find Maurice.
clean air. And they've got Gutman at the bottom. And Bjorgolfsson running toward the goal mouth. Maurice goes up top. That ball is, what a shot. Excellent turn by Grenning. And an even better save by Catano, who laid out and punched it away.
Yeah, brilliant pattern of play from Kentucky. Great positive piece of play.
Now Holstad down on the pitch and gets back up. Rodriguez all the way from his position on defense. Taking it to the top of the box. Maurice left foot. And once again, Catano gets it. Gutman goes toward the box. Bjorgolfsson goes up. And it's the Dayton keeper that comes out of there with it.
You know, I thought Maurice just took too much time. Half a second. He needed to get that shot away as all those Dayton defenders closed in on him.
I'm not sure who Catano was talking to, whether it was his defenders or some of the fans over here on the near side giving him the business.
I think probably a mix of, I don't think he enjoyed the contact from Bjorgolfsson and telling his back four
And
to
there's
get their
a foul.
shoulders in gear.
And so Kentucky quickly puts it in play. Holstad brings it forward. And there's a takedown and finally a call.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand how people put their hands up over that. That's clearly a foul.
If you don't advocate for yourself, no one will.
That ball goes toward the net, and that was nearly an own goal.
So close.
Bjorgolfsson was putting on the pressure,
Yeah.
but I believe that was Xavier Zenge who tried to clear it and nearly put it in as an own goal.
Hey, and we talked about how important it is to send that ball once we get to those wide positions for Kentucky, about sending that ball across quickly between the goalkeeper and the back four. Make those two center backs turn and face their own goal, and you're liable for anything to happen.
Here comes Maurice with a kick. They'll start up top, and everybody will be paying attention to Bjorgolfsson, who's right in front of the keeper. Top of the box.
There's Holstad again.
Holstad checks it down and controls, and they turn it back to the top of the attack end. Eriksson looking to serve it in.
You gotta beat that first. You gotta beat that first man.
That wasn't his best ball. And quickly the other way. How about that footwork there? And now Rodriguez is up to the challenge as he turns it.
Tidy. I've said it before. I've said it many weeks out here, Dave. Rodriguez, Grasso, they're two Rolls Royces back there. They don't make a lot of mistakes, and they're cool under pressure.
Boy, and Rodriguez, I don't know whether he slipped, but that ball got away from him, and now a dangerous spot for the Wildcats. They serve it in. It was Sanchez who I think was wanting to get it to another player. It looked like it wasn't the greatest shot in the world, even though it was on frame.
Yeah.
But the end result is the Wildcats get it back, and they get going in a hurry. Grinning, they try to switch the field. Do they see Gutman down at the bottom? Before that, it's poked away.
You know, Grenning just thought the ball had been taken away from there. You know, if he had kept running, I think he would have been in some okay shape.
Grasso, a nice job of boxing out, and he gets it back as we're just passing the 60-minute mark. 2-1 is our score. That was the score at half. And Holstad keeps possession.
Through
Wildcats
the
with
legs.
some numbers. Maurice, what does he do with it? Holstad.
Lazy pass, lazy pass.
And I don't think that Johan Settergren was happy with the selection of that pass there.
Casual, I would say. Casual at best, lazy at worst.
Now, I think he thought he was fouled. He's really given the business to Andre Castle. So here's Gutman. Miller in front. He goes toward the keeper.
That's an easy one for Catano.
It's an easy one under normal circumstances, but on a rainy, windy night, you never know. What a pace tonight.
Settergren and the fourth official down here continuing to have a conversation.
Boy, and it's not stopping anytime soon now.
I pulled half a headset off to see if I could hear, and just can't hear it.
Eriksson tries to get it into Bjorgelsson there at the high post, I'll call it. Eriksson couldn't get it there. Now they get it back. Maurice has Miller. Gutman. And boy, he saw Eriksson filling in down there, and he just couldn't get it on frame. So I believe, let's see here. So Kentucky at the half had 7 shots. Dayton with 6. Flyers have only had 2 shots here in the second half, while the Wildcats have had 6. And Catano has had to make 6 saves. 2 goals have gotten in for Dayton, but no saves yet for Casper Moles. Now Kentucky's going to reset, I would think, in the back as Bjorgelsson came up to help maintain possession. Now he's back in his spot. Holstad going toward him. And a nice play by the defense.
Got to beat that first man.
Who was that jumped up? That was Xavier Zengay again, who we haven't talked about as much throughout this game, but he's played really well in the second half as this Wildcat pressure has increased. Miller goes down, and there's a whistle. That's going to be a card. And who's it going to be on?
Svenby?
No, that's Zengay, who I was just talking about. And that would be his second yellow.
No, I think that's Zengay over protesting innocence on Svenby's behalf.
According to the official scorer, they have assessed it to Joseph Melto Quia. So that is the 3rd yellow against the Flyers, 1 against Kentucky. So now you still got Sanchez down there complaining. Clock is stopped at the 63:22 mark.
And Dayton will want to be careful here. You know, a red card will really change the momentum of this game.
Oh, yeah. So the question here, normally I would think Screen would take a kick like this, but Maurice is there as well. He a left footer, and that would mean the ball would be bending in toward the net. And that's the way the wind is blowing on this rainy night as well, but we shall see.
I'm surprised I don't see this Kentucky group, this cluster, a bit closer to the goal.
There's Maurice, who takes it right across the box. Nobody could get it on the backside. It looked like Grosso was running in, and it absolutely got by Catano.
Just a hair away there for Grosso. Any kind of contact on the ball there, and
right?
It's in the back of the net. For the first time in the game here, I think we're seeing Dayton up just to get the players up the field here a little bit. Alleviate some Kentucky pressure that has just been relentless this second half.
Screen keeps it in. And, Bjorgelsson is so good around the net, but his ability to win balls and to retain possession in the open field, I don't think gets nearly enough credit.
No, he is vital to what Kentucky do.
He's not flashy, but he's incredibly effective. Nice punch. Gutman gets it to Miller, trying to turn the corner, and he goes into the side of the net.
Gutman and Miller just been tremendous partnership down this right-hand side. Almost unplayable here.
And first Kentucky substitution in the second half, and this is the normal spot. Yes, it's Martin Sarita who will come in at this point in time and give Aitor Bjorgelsson a break. This is about the 64-minute mark. I want to say that if he can, that Johan Settergren will try to get him about 10 minutes or so, and then get him back in for the last 15-minute push. For those of you who haven't joined us all season long, remember the rules change. No overtime in men's or women's collegiate soccer this year. Until we get to the playoffs, that is. Here's Miller to the top. Grenning couldn't set it on his feet and then tried to turn.
Just didn't break how Holstad needed it. But Max Miller again doing an amazing job just getting through and looking beyond that back four here for Dayton.
Sanchez is going to now push it across midfield. That touch is good to Brown. And Moles will keep it in and play it from the back. 66 minutes gone by now. Holstad gets it over to Miller. And boy, you've got a really small margin of error, but what a nice step in by Miller. Here's Maurice. He's got Sarita in the center. Now he goes to him. No whistle from behind as Sarita went down.
Just couldn't get on the same page.
What a nice touch that is. And now, Dayton is starting to make several passes. But then, they haven't been able to make the third, and I'm not sure, was there a delayed foul call?
Offside.
The flag was up.
Yeah, flag went up for offside. I don't understand why the referee doesn't play advantage there.
Eric Tattersall took him back. Here's Holstad, and Sarita got his head on it. Boy, and that's a tough tumble for the keeper, Catano.
And Kentucky will want the clock stopped here.
Now it's stopped. And Catano, that was nobody's fault. There was Sarita and a Dayton defender who were both on the ground. And Catano really had no place to go when he came down.
Yeah, it just looked like it came down heavy.
Dario Catano, a 6'3" junior keeper from Pombal, Portugal.
My parents just got back from a vacation in Portugal.
Yeah?
Small fishing village, Olastagua, down south in the Algarve. We've been going there since we've been kids.
Really?
Yeah. They go back a couple times a year and really enjoy it down there. My mom walks down in the morning and collects her fish straight off the boat and goes home and cooks it for lunch.
Wow. Never got into the Disney thing, did they? They just wanted to go Portugal fishing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm good with that.
But they're not doing any fishing themselves, just eating it.
Oh, I got you. Okay. So there you see the Flyers' backup keeper. They have 3 on the roster. They have the freshman, Sep Habibi, a freshman from Aurora, Colorado. They also have a graduate, Hayden Corfage, 6'5", a native of Louisville, who transferred to Dayton from center. But it looks like they won't need them as Catano is up. And we're back underway. Nice battle in the center of the pitch, won by Rodriguez.
And it's just all Kentucky right now, Dave, isn't it?
Everything except putting the ball in the back of the net.
You keep knocking on the door, someone might answer.
That's the hope and that's the belief. What a nice release by Holstad. He's got some people with him, putting it on his left foot. And he pulled it just wide.
Katana just couldn't get to it. We've seen Holstad in that position, just creating a little bit of space for himself there at the top of the box. We saw it in the first half, and there it is again.
It was like a quarterback because he kind of looked the goalie Catano off with his eyes and had him looking far post, and then he tried to come near post.
Yeah.
So once again, here's Maurice, who will take it with the left foot. I'm keeping my eyes on Sarita and Grasso with Bjorgelsen on the sidelines, and that ball is just pounded. Rodriguez keeps it in play on the far sidelines.
Just too deep from Maurice.
That ball got up and into the wind. And Samuel Owusu checks back in
Dayton checking in before Sam Owusu, replacing
to the Dayton lineup. And Owusu replaces Joseph Melto Kia. Clock stopped for the substitution. And now it starts again.
Got a lot of time left here in this half.
Erickson has played really nicely in the middle for Kentucky. Not a very big guy, wiry guy, plays stronger than he looks, and he's got some speed. Speaking of speed, screen down there.
Hey, on a normal night, that's the kind of ball that works out for you. It's just going to slip a little bit too far away. And good agility from Moles to get there.
And Kentucky desperately trying to get the equalizer. So they have not wasted any time putting the ball back in play. Sarita goes flying. He doesn't get the foul call, but the Wildcats will throw it in. Grasso and Rodriguez.
You see there, Erickson, just a little bit close to that press from Dayton. I'm looking for him to get beyond and into that space a little bit more, create some separation between himself and that midfield.
Nice touch from Grinning, back to Holstad. And now Screen with a serve. Once again, it's cleared by Dayton.
Kentucky doing a much better job at trying to react to some of those first and second
Once again,
balls.
that was Zenge there in the center. Here's Miller, got some room. And I thought he might take it another step, but again, he tried to pass. And now Sanchez coming the other way. Past the 70-minute mark.
Good decision by Sarita. Just not to go on his own Rambo mission, as I call them.
What a nice play by Grinning. Then he got it back to Sarita. They go far side. Gutman looking to create. Top of the box. Sarita turned on it, but it was blocked by a Flyer defender.
He's just got to get the ball down there and connect. Hard to make something out of nothing there when you're standing still at the top of the box.
So Bjorgelsen went out at the 64-31 mark. So we're just getting ready to get in the zone where he would typically come back in. Grinning cut off.
Brilliant by Ante.
We haven't called his name as much in the second half, but he has been oh so good tonight. Holstad carries it down. Maurice leaves it for Gutman. Right in front. And again, it was Zenge who got it. Screen trying to settle. And the Wildcats again denied, but still in possession as they try to battle back from 2 down.
Patient play by Kentucky.
Trying to move those Dayton players who played so much offense in the first half side to side on defense. Maurice looks for Miller, and he's blocked off nicely by Savage.
You know, Maurice is closer to the goal there than I think he thought he was.
I think Johan Sedergren, I can't hear exactly what he's saying, but I think he would have liked Maurice to pull up and take a shot. And listen, I know you want to be precise with passes and things like that, but at this point in time, on a night like this, I think for the first time the rain has actually stopped. The flags are still blowing, though. So on a night like this, after you've been out there all night, you're wet and everything, who knows whether somebody's going to be able to field the ball cleanly.
Yeah.
So cut it loose and see what happens. Miller has it. Nice back heel. That was Gutman who got it to Miller. Can he keep possession? And contact down on the baseline. Oh,
Corner.
and it's a Kentucky corner. I thought Miller had touched it last, but no, says our referee, Eric Tattersall.
Hey, just did enough.
So the Wildcats have possession, and it's going to be Maurice who takes it again. It's one of those deals where if he can get some air under it, and that ball is going to be blowing back. That's a little better. Right to the back post. Still loose in front, and they say offsides.
That's 2 or 3 now, just a little bit deep.
Third one against Kentucky, and just as prescribed, almost exactly 10 minutes, Bjorgelsen comes back in for the remaining 15 and a half minutes of this one. Erickson now goes out.
And Sarita drops back into that center midfield position.
And Erickson will probably go out just enough to catch his breath as well. Again, only 2 substitutes for the Flyers tonight. They've only subbed once here in the second half, as Owusu came in a short time ago.
Again, Umar with those hips.
Catano with a big leg, but the wind got a hold of that one. Grasso plays it in the air. And that ball was handled nicely.
Yeah, that's a great looking ball.
Who was that? That was 11, Foster Ajago, who had it in the midfield.
This whole second half, we haven't seen much of Dayton down here in this Kentucky defensive
No,
third.
we have not.
Tidy direction from Ante there. You know, he's the kind of player you watch the game and you don't see Ante, and you watch Ante, you see the whole game.
Flyers have only gotten off 2 shots, Gavin, in the second half. Kentucky has gotten off 8. Zengay got it up to Sanchez. And boy,
Clever.
how about that leave in the center? That was Omar. Shot.
Safe hands by Moles.
And it was a good one. And look at Moles trying to get it out of there. If you're going to do that, you got to make sure you clear. And there's a foul. And by all appearances, Eric Tattersall is going to
He's got
hand
a card.
a
He's got a card in his hand.
to one of the Dayton defenders. But I'm not sure who he's going to give it to. Both players down. That's Sarita for Kentucky, right?
Sarita for Kentucky.
And now they call for the trainer. And both guys got it big time in the ankle as they were both going for the ball. And Dennis Courier and a member of his staff both leapt out of their covering when that whistle was hit, as the clock is stopped at 76:16.
Martin Sarita still just absorbing the force of that impact and exchanging words with Ajago.
Now the player is setting up. And again, I can't see because of the referee Tattersall. It is, in fact, number 8, Omar. So Zengay, Ante, Joseph Melto Quia, and now it looks like Omar. Yes, in fact, he gets the yellow. So that's the 4th yellow tonight against the Flyers. Kentucky's Max Miller and Martin Sarita have gotten yellows for the Wildcats.
Referee letting Umar know that he just has to leave the field.
Because he was down injured and the trainer had to come out,
Yes,
right?
because he received treatment. He's pointing at Martin Sarita and why he doesn't have to go off, and the referee's explaining to him that because you received treatment.
In the meantime, Brennan Creek waiting for an opportunity to check in for Kentucky. And now Omar can go back in. And the Wildcats again trying to even this one up. Grasso trying to go to Miller. And nicely played by the freshman out of Lexington. Gutman settles it nicely. And a nice work on the two-man game with he and Sarita. Flyers trying to clear.
Kentucky just not quick enough to react there.
And the pace of play on the part of both teams. I mean, they've expended a lot of energy, Gavin. And that is Holstad who goes down. I haven't seen a card yet.
Maybe not card worthy. Bit more of a coming together, an unfortunate slip from a Dayton player.
But that's Ante who gets the yellow card. Not the yellow card, excuse me, the foul. So Dayton now has 9 fouls, 5 against the Wildcats. This clock is stopped again as somebody else is down on the pitch for Dayton.
It's Ante himself.
Are you sure? And now he's waving him off saying, no, I don't need the trainer.
The trainer hasn't heard him.
And so now Ante's going to have to come off to the side of the field, right?
Yeah. And you could see him just a moment ago trying to wave the trainer away.
And thumbs up or not, he's going to have to come over to the sideline now.
Yeah. Referee just trying to hurry things along here. It's not a water break.
And so now they're going to substitute for Ante. And let's see who it is. First time we've seen number 6.
Swalita.
It is Guinea.
On the injury substitution for Dayton number 6.
Am I right about this? It is 6 Guinea Kanyane from Rotoport, South Africa.
Jackson replacing number 10, Casper Grinning.
And so, Screen and Maurice.
I expect Maurice.
It's Screen who screams it just over top of the crossbar. My goodness.
Not a million miles away.
And then Ante comes right back in.
Substitution for Dayton number 10.
You know, sometimes as a player, you see Ante coming off there after that, coming together. If you know a team's going to shoot, maybe it's a good time to get off, get some instruction from your coach, and get yourself back in a moment or two later.
So it's Ante who comes back in. And that is Guinea who comes right back out. And a nice defensive job there by Rodriguez who headed it away. Owusu. And now they go back to Logan. Logan Brown, excuse me. Brown throws it in. And Owusu has it taken away.
Dayton bench not happy with that call. I'm not sure where the disagreement is.
And that throw just kind of squirted. Gutman can't handle it. And now Dayton certainly with more pressure than we've seen maybe at any other time this half. Even if they can't get anything going offensively, the more they increase the pressure, the more time that Kentucky has to use as we're 30 seconds away from being 80 minutes in. Taken down to the far side. And that ball gets through a lot of people right there.
Just well dealt with by Rodriguez.
Again, time the ally of the Flyers. And it's not only that they're burning time, but burning Kentucky's energy. But here's Holstad trying to cross. Loose in front, Miller with a left foot. And he can't get on top of it.
You see Clay Holstad just hunkering down at the bottom of your screen. What an engine this player has. He created something from nothing.
And a whistle. And it looks like Holstad is hurt. And so Erickson is going to come back in to replace him.
Almost on the button, Dave, as you said.
And I don't know if we've seen the last of Holstad or not, but boy, has he played well. And so now Catano with the goal kick, and Grosso won it in the air. Foul against the Wildcats.
Martin Sarita just setting the ball up for them, trying to get the speed of play up. And Dayton happy just to slow this ball
Absolutely.
down. Yeah, there's
81 minutes
there's
in.
another player on.
Miller picks it out of the air, and there we see a slip in the mid, which we haven't seen much of tonight despite this rainy evening. There's another one on the far side.
You know, just a couple of passes there. You got to take care of this late in the game. Lapses in concentration. We talked about intensity. Not necessarily always meaning that big physical battle and that sort of energy expending run, but it's about concentrating on what you need to do technically with the ball when you've got it.
The rain that had been with us pretty much all evening had stopped for a spell, but now is back as we approach the 82nd minute. And that ball out of bounds, and it'll go back to Dayton.
You see this Kentucky bench down here, coaching staff just remaining calm as we get into the last 8 minutes here.
One game does not a season make. Huge win for the Flyers if they can hold on. It'll be big for them, not only from a program standpoint, but from one of those signature win standpoints that the NCAA talks about, but still a lot of time for the Wildcats. Miller tried to go to the middle to Bjorgelson. You see his frustration.
Tidy by Gutman. Great by Erickson.
So Ryda looking to switch things. And now let's see if Screen can get one of his services in that we've seen so many times before. It looks like Erickson on the far side, who's taken off those gloves. And now Dayton trying to come the other way.
Martin Sarita will look to be quick with this.
We're into the 83rd minute. Kentucky just up to number 2 in the country, their highest ever ranking.
Here's one of those moments. See what you're made of here in these last 6 minutes for Kentucky.
Can you make something happen? Can you create and draw even? Erickson shot it through. And a little miscommunication there with Maurice.
Tired legs, tired brains here at this stage. Not a million miles away. I think the idea there is good. We know how good Maurice is at getting into those pockets and getting turned on the ball.
And you got to credit Catano back there. He's certainly not stopped, but he is using all the time he can. And to his credit.
This late in the game, It should be all substance. Style begins to matter less.
They try to come up to Owusu. And the Wildcats get it back and try to come the other way. So Ryder put it on his left foot. And Dayton is certainly not just fallen back and let the Wildcats have their way.
No, they've continued to press. There'll be some tired bodies on I-75 here going back this evening.
It's a good nap on the way to the Dayton area. I've taken it many times myself. Here is Gutman, who centers. They leave it, and it gets through. How about the unselfish play? That was Bjorgelsen, who kicked it back, left it for a teammate.
And Max Miller there, he's been there the whole second half.
4:55 to go.
Reaping those rewards. He has worked so hard down this right-hand side this whole second half.
And that's what the great ones do, Gavin. I mean, Bjorgelsen has scored so many goals, and he got just one touch, and he left it back for his teammate. So they give the assist to Gutman and Bjorgelsen. And after giving up a goal in the first minute, the Wildcats have battled back to draw even with just under 5 minutes to play.
And Max Miller's first goal in a Kentucky shirt for us?
Let's see. By golly, it is. Good call, partner.
That's a special moment. That's a special moment for the local man.
Hometown kid out of Lexington, Bryan Station.
Hey, and we've got time to go here.
And there's a foul against the Flyers. Aitor Bjorgelsen said he first saw Miller and Taco Simpasi play when they were playing club here at about 14 or 15 years of age. And so look at Rodriguez coming up. Gets it to Bjorgelsen again.
And this Dayton team are scrambling.
Rodriguez looking to play it in. Bjorgelsen got it again. There's Maurice trying to go to Gutman, and I didn't see a flag, and they called a handball against the Wildcats.
Handball against Bjorgelsen for just a moment ago. It seems like a late call that's come in.
I think that came from the alternate referee, Andre Castle. And we are now into the 86th minute as the clock continues to run.
You know, I think that's a very late call, and I think that's unfortunate. I think the wrong one. Referees, you have a chance to see it, and if you don't see it, then you move forward. It's not overly egregious. It's not dangerous play. You either catch it or you don't, and you let the play, and
when
you let the play continue.
When I saw it live, I thought, maybe.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean...
And you have a moment as a referee or a fourth official or a linesperson to make that call.
You have to explain some of this stuff to me at some point in time.
I've learned more about basketball through some of these references than I've learned my whole life, Dave. So it's part and parcel here.
So Sarida now has it in the middle of the pitch as we're past the 87-minute mark. Both of these teams ranked in the top 25. Both without a loss on their sheet this year. And we've come down to the final 3 minutes. Miller gets tangled up.
He might see a card for this, and I think he's unlucky. He's tried to play the ball.
And that goes against Owusu. And if that's on Miller, that would be his second yellow of the night.
Oh, I'm as confused here as I think both benches are.
And I believe that was Andre Castle, the alternate official, who put his hand up and called that. Now, we've seen Castle a number of times as a referee here, I believe for both the men and the women. But I know we've seen him here before, and there you see him in the black jacket talking to the referee, Eric Tattersall.
And he's done a good job down here, I think, just keeping both benches sort of informed and at bay, and, that's his job.
So here's my question for somebody that didn't grow up in the game. So is the alternate official an alternate, or is he an official? Is he the fourth official, or is he? What exactly are his duties?
His role down there will to be sort of make sure to explain and keep both benches at bay, keep them informed of what's going on. Coaches for the most part want to be heard and informed.
But he does have the ability like that to make calls himself, right?
He won't make calls himself. But as the alternate, he's the first guy that goes in. Should a referee pull a hamstring or roll an ankle and not be able to continue the game, it's the alternate that will go in, and the two lines folk will stay out wide.
So they don't deliver a card, but my point is when that foul was called, it was he who put his arm up.
Right.
And clearly the referee can see that from out on the pitch, right?
Yeah, it's what I understand the duties of these fourth officials and alternates is that they they will report things that happen on the side. Sometimes a coach will say something or do something that will that is worthy of a card or a speaking to from the referee, and they'll report that as they go. But as far as making decisions, that seems unique. That feels like a unique moment to me.
Okay, less than 2 minutes to go. Here's Rodriguez. Cats looking to break the tie. They've battled back from 2 goals down. They go to the center, and that was knocked out. Still loose, and oh my goodness. That was Xavier Zenge, who tried to kick it from behind. And I think
Settergren not happy with the high foot there from a Dayton defender.
He wanted a dangerous kick.
Yeah.
And nothing going from behind. And now the clock continues to run, and we are just about ready to come up on the final minute. Grosso wins it in the air, and they call him for a foul.
Dayton up against the ropes.
And the Flyers a little disorganized, and we're now into the final minute.
1 minute.
I won't be surprised to see them slow this right down.
Boy, and they look really gassed, too. I mean, it's not like they're pushing forward.
I said it early on, Dave, in the first half, that's hard to keep up, how they play and what they do against a team like Kentucky. They do that for 90 minutes.
Up in the wind and blown backwards. Maurice got a left foot on it. Gutman controls and takes it to the other end.
Bjorgolfsson just not looking.
Oh, my goodness. And Catano nearly lost that ball off his foot. Here's Sarita, and he goes down, and that'll be a
Referee
foul.
got the clock.
And the clock will stop with 22 ticks left. And that's going to be a yellow card. And who's that on?
Might have been Manny Day. That will be a second offense. The first one early on.
Yellow card assessed to Dayton player 32, Jayden Jones-Riley.
And let's see. So it's Jayden Jones-Riley who gets the yellow. I'll tally it up when we're done, but I believe that's the 5th or 6th against the Flyers tonight. So here is Robert Screen.
He's a set-piece specialist.
Cats lining up at the top of the box, all except for Aitor Bjorgolfsson. And it's just like the missed free throw in a big game. For me, it's not the delivery, it's the rebound. 22 seconds left. Clock will start on a kick. Screen delivers a great ball. Back post. Bjorgolfsson is there and can't get to it.
And just too deep. We've seen a handful of corners here the second half that have been far too deep.
And now let's see if Dayton shuts this down. And I got to believe they're just happy as the dickens to get out of here with a draw.
Yeah.
And for Kentucky, I'll tell you this too.
1-0.
The Wildcats are some kind of happy to get out of here with a draw as well. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a great match between two teams we'll see in the postseason as Kentucky and Dayton remain unbeaten, Gavin.